welcome to Coffee with Christy. Can't quite sip yet. I thought it'd be funny to address really this COVID that we're all facing right now. Good thing is, since we're talking by video, I don't need my mask. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Christy. And today I want to look at chapters 2 and 3, just a smidgen of each. We kind of have to go faster than one chapter a week, otherwise it'll take us all year. So what really stood out to me in these two chapters, one was if God is for us, who can be against us? And just the idea that sometimes we literally are facing the idea that sure, God's for us, but we don't actually believe it. We kind of somehow in the back of our mind think maybe he's not. And we start rejecting God for things that actually aren't him. So Eric, I'm going to mention this guy here, Eric Metaxas. He shared that everything I rejected about God was not God, it was religion. It was people who go to church and do not show the love of Jesus, people who don't practice what they preach, people who are indifferent to the poor and suffering. I had rejected that, but guess what? Jesus had also rejected that. Jesus was and is the enemy of dead religion. So I guess that's just sort of an idea of going, okay, God is for you. And here Mark Batterson says, okay, no, 1,000 times no to rejecting God for the wrong reasons, because God is for you. God is for you in every way imaginable. God is for you for all eternity. Isn't that cool? So that is based on the verse Romans 8:31. If God is for us, who can be against us? But also kind of combines with chapter 3 here, the verse Romans 8:1. Now there is no condemnation. And just kind of combining with the idea that, okay, God is for us. And how we end up with condemnation in our lives and in our hearts, where we're kind of facing that ourselves. So this is interesting here. He's got a story from Jill Price that says, for Jill, her problem is forgetting instead of memorizing. She has a condition called hyperthymestic syndrome, automatic autobiographical recall of every day of her life from the age of 14 on. So what Jill says is, as I grew up, more and more memories were stored in my brain. More and more of them flashed through my mind in this endless barrage, and I became a prisoner to my memory. So in that idea, Mark here is mentioning consciously or subconsciously, most of us are prisoners of our past. Even if we've confessed our sin, we feel condemned. And that feeling of condemnation undermines the fact that God is for us. We keep beating ourselves up. We keep sabotaging ourselves. We keep believing this self-defeating lies that come from the enemy and self-fulfilling prophecies. The only exit is fully accepting, understanding, and believing the life-changing truth that there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. I think that's just a neat example to think of somebody who has a syndrome where they can't forget, just constantly remembering their mistakes. This example of, what's her name? Jill Price. Can you imagine that? And for us to be able to go, okay, maybe we don't have that syndrome and we're not remembering every mistake we've ever made, but they do kind of linger in our hearts, don't they? We kind of like, oh, I hurt that person's feeling last year, and it's still in my heart that I hurt their feelings, and I wish, I've tried to be sorry, feel sorry, and be kind, but that condemnation just sort of lingers. So this idea of going, okay, no, actually, there's no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. None, nada, zilch, zero, not a trace, not a whiff, not a hint. Isn't that fun? So that's our Devo for this morning. So here in my home here in Oregon, COVID kind of took another turn here this week. Our church had someone came out positive, and although we weren't really gathering that much, we were doing social distancing and limiting the amount of people. So our church has about 300 church members, and right now we're allowed to have maybe 50 at a time. So we kind of get to go once a month or once every 6 weeks. So we kind of taking turns, and we have to register online to go. Well, someone got COVID, and it kind of, because we are seeing each other a little bit, it did pass around, and someone in my family got it. So my sister Suki is staying with us, and she got sick and had a fever. So that meant we weren't, in case it was COVID, it's hard to get the tests, right? So in case it was COVID, we had to kind of lock down and not go anywhere, which of course isn't very much fun. Of course, there is shopping you can do online where you can go in and click and order, but the delivery is not free and pickup's not free either. So they gather it for you and can drive up to the parking lot, and then they bring the bags out. We have a translator who lives in Jordan. His name is Yanel, and he translates for us into Arabic. So, hi Yanel, if you see this. So he's facing the same kind of thing, only over there I guess it's a little bit tighter in that they only have 3 hours to leave and go do their shopping. So again, they do have online shopping where they can buy their groceries, but to get the free delivery, they need a $50 order or more. So it's harder for just getting the small things that you need, because I do have a lot of the basics already in my home. You know, I have beans and rice and some basics, so I don't have to do a ton of shopping every week, but at the same time I am out of a few things I need to go get. So anyway, Yanel does his translation to Arabic, and then he brings his translation over to a local Christian church there, and they check it for just Christianese, make sure it has a feel. And so he runs it to a church, and they check the translation and make sure it's clean. So that's been hard for him as well, because the church hasn't been open. So everything, this whole COVID has been kind of crazy. Also, we had one of our staff members in Mexico. He's actually Guatemalan. His name is Marlon. He also tested positive this last December. I went down for a trip, and we were together. And so then I had to stay another 10 days in Mexico before I could come back to the United States, because he had that positive test of COVID, and I was not allowed to travel with that, and need to make sure that we were symptom-free. So waited 10 days, was symptom-free, and then I was allowed to travel. So it's been a little bit interesting, right? So speaking of translations, we got new Sunday school. So exciting. Time Machine, yay! So everybody, we've got brand new Sunday school for this year, and it is called Time Machine, and the kids are going to imagine going back in time. So we have the Justice League, and they visit each week, and there's a little drama. Now you can have that drama with 3 people, or you can do all 5. Two of the actors are optional. And so it's pretty cool. What we're learning is some issues that relate to justice in the world. You know, kids might not be able to understand human trafficking, but they can start to see things that are just, things that are right, how people should be treated regardless of their social status, how to defend oppressed people, and they can learn that from now in your Sunday school class. So there's Justice League that shows them this drama, and then there's also a biography section that shows the children a different type of occupation that would benefit society, like a pastor, lawyer, scientist, policeman. Now, some of these occupations are seen in a negative light, depending on the country you're in, but it's a neat opportunity for us to show people what would Jesus do if he had that occupation, and how would he treat people with respect, and how would he not abuse his power. So if you go to the website right now, Time Machine has the English up, and all the other languages are coming soon. They are finished, all the books are done. They just are in the process now of uploading, because our internet in the Mexico office is kind of slow. They have to kind of go, but very soon, maybe a week, all these will be up. So the languages we have for Time Machine are English, Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Spanish, Indonesian, Portuguese, Swahili, Filipino, Russian, French, Chinese Simplified, and Arabic. Thank you, Yamal. All right, so that is our lesson for today. Coffee. Coffee with Christy. Thank you for dropping by.